Three-city road trip, Cleveland, Ohio. The Indians are the surprise team of the year. They currently sit in first place in the AL Central. The combination of solid starting pitching and a talented lineup have the Indians eyeing October. The Athletics have been on a roll, winning all 4 series since the break. Their 2-out RBIs and clutch home runs have been playing their best baseball of the year. The A's will look to spoil the Tribe's party as they open up a 3-game set in downtown Cleveland. A's, Indians, next. It is a beautiful night for baseball. We are at Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland. A sellout crowd is expected tonight, so the place should be jumping. It's game 1 of a 3-game series, and Kendall Graveman, who's been terrific as of late, he's going to take them out for the Athletics. So coming up, it's the A's and the Indians. You'll see it right here on CSN California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. A's very good in Texas. They won 2 out of 3. The offense was terrific. And Ray, home runs are a beautiful thing, aren't they? Well,
especially if you can hit them out the way the A's did in the series against the Rangers. You go into that ballpark, you're worried about the 27 outs. The A's found out about that on the Monday night. But how about 5 different players hitting 7 home runs and driving in 18 runs? This is fun to watch, especially to right field. Coco going second deck. That was a huge home run that he hit. And, of course, Josh Reddick had a hanging curveball. You look at Marcus Semien, hit a ball to left center for a home run. But the biggest happened to be on Wednesday night. That was this man. Chris Davis hit 2, 1 to left field. That's hard to do. And then he goes out to right field. What a tremendous shot. Of course, Coco hit a 2-run shot also in that game. So all things good. You don't live by the home run. A's have been getting great pitching, but they're also taking advantage of those home runs.
Well, that NBA title thing got everybody warmed up here in Cleveland, and now they're starting to get excited about the Cleveland Indians, and why not? Indians are having a terrific season. 57-42. They lead the Central by 4.5 games. They played great since June. They score runs. The pitching's good. So really, Ray, when you look at all the numbers for the Indians, you can see why their record is what it is. They're a very balanced team.
And they also have a great manager, a great players manager in Tito Francona. Terry Francona, one of the best. He's here now. They love playing for him. He loves to come out of here early. They are playing great. And Kuiper, I think they also enjoy seeing about 1 million people at the parade for the Cavaliers winning the NBA championship.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. A sellout tonight and a sellout tomorrow. It'll be Kendall Graveman tonight against the right-hander Trevor Bauer. That is your pitching matchup. Keep it right here on CSN California. When we come back, we will check in with the A's pregame live studios and then back to Cleveland for the A's and the Indians.
on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Beautiful night in Cleveland. Big crowd on hand as we get set for game one of the three-game series from Progressive Field. Game time weather brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. It's a warm, humid evening. You see the humidity 70%. And they're talking about maybe a little bit of rain, but tomorrow and Sunday it's supposed to be a little damp.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like one of those giant storms where it's going to rain solid for 2 days, but it could be an issue here and there. But so far so good tonight.
Could also blow through and won't even know it.
That's
because this is Cleveland, by the way. It's downtown Cleveland. Things like that can happen. Seen it before. Looks bad, and then all of a sudden it's perfect.
The lineup tonight for the Athletics starts with Coco Crisp in center field, Jed Lowry at second, Reddick in right, Chris Davis in left, Stephen Vogt will catch. Billy Butler gets a start against the right-hander. He's the DH. And then Alonso, Simeon, and Healy.
Right-hander Trevor Bauer on the mound for the Tribe to start this series. And you look at the 15 starts, 22 games. So at the beginning, he was put in the bullpen. He was not very happy because he wanted to be a starting pitcher. And he's back in the rotation now, making his 16th start. And no decision in one start against the Athletics, but he throws an assortment of pitches. And he will use both sides of the plate, something that Darren Bush, the A's hitting coach, is well aware of with his team.
Terry Francona, fourth season already here with the Cleveland Indians.
What was it last year? Was he eating popsicles?
Popsicles, yeah. Got stomach ache. Not too many.
Well, you eat as many popsicles as he was, you're going to get a stomach ache.
So the first pitch of the ball game is in for a strike to Coco Crisp. So we're underway from Cleveland. Crisp, Lowry, and Reddick here in the first inning. Bauer with a unique delivery.
He does a lot of things very unique. I think if Daniel Binghamton was pitching the same night he was, we'd see two guys
a good pregame show
competing on who could work out the longest before they even take the mound.
Coco at 240 with 9 home runs, 43 RBIs. Had a good series in Texas. He was 4 for 8. A double, a triple, and 2 home runs. In fact, he has homered in back-to-back games. And he skies this one toward the second baseman, Jason Kipnis. And Kipnis has it. So that is the first out of the ball game. Let's look at the defense for the Cleveland Indians. Starting the outfield with Rajai Davis in left. Tyler Naquin is in center. Fine rookie outfielder. He's a left-handed hitter. Lonnie Chisenhall is in right. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Jason Kipnis, and Mike Napoli. The infield, third to first. Chris Jimenez is your catcher. Here's Lowry, who takes a first pitch strike from Bauer at 93 miles an hour.
Indians, one of the teams that talking about acquiring different players. One of them being a catcher, especially an offensive catcher.
Hit pretty well in the air to left center field. And going back is the left fielder Rajai Davis right near the wall. And Rajai makes the catch. It's a pretty well hit ball by Lowry, but it's a long out. 2 away here in the top of the first. Josh Reddick steps up. Umpire Scott Berry, Tripp Gibson, Hunter Wendelstedt, and Jerry Lane. There is Jerry Lane. He is the crew chief, and he is down at third base. First pitch to Reddick, off speed for a strike.
It's one of the good pitches from Bauer, the curveball. Good fastball. He's been elevating them some.
Down the left field line. Davis hustling over, and it drops just foul. Early wind sprints for our old friend Rajai Davis.
Another key for Rajai, keep him off the bases because he loves to run.
Had a good career, Rajai Davis. 0-2 to Reddick here, right at 300 with his 7 home runs, 27 RBIs. Reddick was 5 for 13 in that series down in Arlington. And a homer, knocked in 4 runs, scored 3 runs.
He was batting 1,000 with his hustle. That really was impressive, and really all season, his whole career that we have seen him with the A's, how he has really hustled every time.
He lines this one to Davis, coming in, and he dropped it. Rajai Davis had it, and he just dropped it. It was not a straight routine play. He did have to come in, but it's going to be an error.
And it was sinking, and you're right, it was routine, relatively routine, but I mean, right there, these guys catch it as he reached down, the ball was slicing on him, and he just dropped it. And the A's took advantage of an error in Texas when Danny Valencia hit a 2-run home run. See if Chris Davis an opportunity in this inning, thanks to the error by Rajai, that he can do something.
So 2 outs, and here's Davis at 256, 25 and 67. First pitch is high to Davis. He had a big series in Arlington. He only played in 2 of the 3 games, right? He was 4 for 7, 2 doubles, 2 homers, knocked in 4, scored 3. So his terrific season continues. His first with the Athletics. Home run leaders, tied for 4th with some of the big fellas, and he is now one of the big fellas. 25.
Well, they keep going back to last year, 27 in limited time, 25 this year. There's 2 away from his career high. But I think the impressive thing about Chris Davis, as we saw Wednesday night, I mean, his first with left field, hanging curveball that he hit from Yu Darvish, and a little bit later against a hard throwing Matt Bush to right field, and that's simply power to power, and good swing, and that was not a cheap one, just slicing down on the corner for a home run. That went very deep in right field.
Yeah, usually when a right-handed hitter does that, you're right, the ball slices. That one, it didn't really slice.
No.
It just stayed up and kept going.
Chris Davis defies the logic of pitching to a hitter late in the game, pitch him away, let him hit the ball out to right field. He can, and he proved that against the hard throwing Matt Bush, but there's not a park really that contain him and his power.
3-1 pitch bounced up the middle. Lindor has it, and he flips to Kipnis, side retired. So the A's get a base runner on the air, nothing else, and we are scoreless after a half an inning. So let's check out the lineup for the Cleveland Indians as they come to bat here in the bottom of the first to face red-hot Kendall Graveman. It's Santana, Kipnis, Lindor, Napoli, Ramirez, Chisenhall, Davis, Naquin, and Jimenez.
And of course, it is the sinker ball pitcher Kendall Graveman on the mound for the Athletics, and going back to his start, his 13th start against the Angels, double figures in ground ball outs, the exception to one in San Francisco, 5 innings, but 9 in that one. But he has been pitching extremely well, making his 20th start, 7-6. He's 6-0 in his last 10 starts, and of course 4-0 in the month of July, his final start in this month.
So he pumps a first pitch strike into Carlos Santana.
He'll take that strike a lot tonight. That'd be great.
And another good pitch, 93 miles an hour. And Graveman quickly ahead 0-2. Santana, Kipnis, Lindor, the first 3 hitters for the Indians. That one's hit hard to Alonso. A step to his left and he grabs it. So 1 out. Let's look at the lineup for the Athletics, or the defense for the Athletics. Davis, Crisp, and Reddick in the outfield. Healy, Simeon, Lowry, Alonso on the infield, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher. So with 1 out, here's Jason Kipnis. As we showed you in the open of our show, the Indians 57-42, a 4.5 game lead over the Tigers. They have the best record in the American League.
That first pitch down in the lower part of the strike zone. Kipnis looking back to home plate umpire. Let's look at some of the tribe. Rajay Davis, Carlos Santana. But if you can get the pitch down low and get a call to strike or force the Indians hitters to swing at it like that, I think ground balls all night if you can hurry.
Graveman hustles over. So 2 ground ball outs to open up the bottom of the first.
But it's ideal for a sinker ball pitcher to keep the ball down and get ground ball outs. And Kendall Graveman slightly hesitating. I don't know why, because the ball on the right side, you automatically, as a pitcher, you head to first. If you have to stop, you do it. But Yonder Alonso is an excellent fielding first baseman, and he's going to range. He stayed near the mound to be able to give Kendall a breather as he was coming back to the mound. That's all we have to do, Kuipers. Remember Cincinnati when he took the mound and he was gassed. As he said, 4 innings, could not pitch out of the 5th. And so he's back in the humidity and the heat in Cleveland, another city in the state of Ohio.
First pitch to Francisco Lindor, the fine young shortstop for the Indians. Very good numbers, 306, 12 homers, 50 RBIs. He's a keeper.
Yes, he is. It sure says a lot about Kendall Graveman walking back off the mound. Stephen Vogt going out to talk to him, and I don't know if he's just a little bit gassed. The pitch was high. He's getting low strike, and he acted like he thought that one was a strike. But if your umpire is giving you the lower one, you take that one and forget about the higher strike.
Nice look at Progressive Field, a full house tonight. A lot of fans still coming in. There's fireworks after the game. So it's nice to see the big crowds coming back to Progressive Field. Simeon can't get it. Lindor has a 2-out single.
Well, it was a ground ball. Just happened to find its way into center field, and that is one of the issues with a ground ball pitcher. You hope it's near an infielder. This one past Graveman, and then Simeon, no chance for him to get to it. So now dealing with the strong man, Mike Napoli.
Napoli doing a nice job for the Indians this year. 22 home runs and 68 RBIs. I think he's been exactly what the Indians had hoped for. A very productive offensive player, but there's probably some leadership qualities there. Yeah. He's got lots of postseason experience, and that's what the Indians are trying to get to.
Well, that man's been there. Terry Francona looking over across to the A's dugout. Somebody, but Terry, the managed the first World Championship in Boston in 2004 since 1918. And again in what, 7? And after he left, they won in 13.
There's Napoli among the American League RBI leaders. He is 6th. Just one ahead of Chris Davis.
Remember when he was catching for the Angels, he and Jeff Mathis were sharing the duties, and of course Napoli the hitter, Mathis a better catcher. Combine the two, one great player, but he was shipped to Toronto, then to Texas, Boston. And some of the Red Sox players were calling Tito Francona, said, sign him.
Yep.
You better get him because he's a good one to have, and they know from Boston, and Terry of course knows from Boston.
Well, Napoli, he's a very good run producer. He's going to strike out a lot, but as long as you're producing runs, well, then you can live with it.
Well, Folk moved inside with the throw to first. Now he's going to go back outside. That's a good idea to stay out there with him. Let him reach like that.
Chris Davis comes in, and that will do it. So a hit and a runner left. No score after one from Cleveland. Ace Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by AAA. Get a free Ace cap with a new AAA membership. Visit a participating AAA branch by August 30th. Restrictions apply. Hey, that's our hotel right there, isn't it? Somewhere in that area. Top of the second, no score. A's in the Indians. Stephen Vogt to lead it off. He'll be followed by Butler and Alonso.
One thing we have found out when the convention left town, a lot of things closed down. Closed down and a lot of changes. So a lot of fans getting used to watching Indians baseball now once again.
Napoli to Bauer, one out. Yeah, the attendance for the Indians, which for the season really not all that great. They're averaging 18,885, but as expected with the season they're having, the last month and a half or so it started to pick up, and you can imagine that in August and September it will really pick up. Big crowd tonight.
You didn't have to think John Adams in left field with the drummer.
How's he doing out there?
Well, and when they were selling out, he had to buy a seat for his drum, but now, man, for a while that wasn't necessary, but now that they're selling out again,
I don't see him.
It's got to be
a little bit of a concern.
Yeah.
To start this game over. Big John's not out there.
Well, maybe, you know, at the old mistake by the lake, it was what time does the game start? And the receptionist would say, what time can you get here? Well, maybe John took that to heart.
Let's see him. 2-1 to Butler. Butler, 3 home runs and 25 runs batted in.
That's some good numbers against Trevor Bauer.
And that's a base hit left center field. Naquin gets over there and juggles it a little bit.
Yeah, fastball up in the zone, and Billy Butler swinging at 2-0, but then right back with a 2-1 right in his wheelhouse, and they took it right back up the middle.
So Billy Butler, who's starts most of the time against left-handed pitching, starting tonight against right-handed pitching Trevor Bauer. Bob Melvin just basically said, it sounds like the A's are going to be facing a lot of right-handers in the next week, maybe a little bit longer, and he said he just didn't want Butler to sit for a long time.
Yeah, starting the 2 games with Martinez and Darvish in Texas. That was the beginning of 13 consecutive right-handers.
There you go.
And I say that, and there's subject to change, but Adam Roden, the A's video coordinator, puts together all the advanced scouting and all that, and pitchers expected to start, and it was listed, and that's of course what the A's go by with the staff. And I agree with you, and that's exactly what Melvin was talking about, with so many right-handers that you just can't stay with all left-handed hitters.
Yeah, otherwise Billy Butler's he's not going to start for 2 weeks. So.
Exactly. And tonight, Jake Smolinski is not starting. He's been starting in center field against righties as well as lefties.
2-0 to Yonder Alonso, who's hitting right at 250. With 4 home runs, 31 RBIs. A's are 47 and 55. They've won 5 of their last 6. Danny Valencia will be back in there tomorrow night. But the A's winning 5 of their last 6, and of course they're 9 and 4 in the second half. 23 and 26 on the road. They have played very good baseball since the All-Star break. Only the Rockies have a better record in the second half. That's in all of baseball. Angels playing well, 9 and 4. Reds 8 and 4. So it's interesting, those 4 teams, none of them having great years as a whole, but playing well to start the second half.
I guess the Angels just had a protest for the game against the Royals that was denied by Major League Baseball. Target outside, but the pitch on the inner part of the plate, and called nice by Jimenez, and the umpire liked it, which as long as it's between the 17 inches, it's a strike regardless of the target of the catcher.
3-2 pitch is hit high in the air to center. Naquin goes back. Naquin sets up. He's got it and he gets it back in quickly. So Bauer comes back to get Yonder Alonso. And that's out number 2. And here's Marcus Semien. This is the first meeting of the year between these 2 teams. The Indians will be in Oakland August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So this is the last team that the A's have not seen. So we've been watching the Indians from afar, and they had a long winning streak early in the year. But they seem to be a very well balanced team.
Well, that arena just on the other side of left field, that had a lot of excitement. Probably kept a few fans away from here. That's where the Cavs were playing during the NBA championship, and the Warriors were back here. But I guess that entire court area had a huge TV screen set up, so like an outdoor theater.
That's where the party was.
Yeah, so they could watch the games back in Oakland. First championship in Cleveland since 1964.
Semien fouls straight back.
See, Cap, when I was here, all they talked about was 48.
Yeah.
You know, that's the last time the Indians won a world championship. They've tried. Mid-90s looked like they were going to do something. 97, very close to winning it. 2007 also, but did not. Cubs 107 and 567. Wow.
They're waiting. side, 3-2.
Except for your brother, man. We were just back here just putting in time.
Yeah, you guys did the best you could.
We never got to play in this beautiful place, though.
3-2, 2 out, so Butler will be on the move. Interesting that they're holding him on. That one's belted to center. Naquin gets back, and he makes the catch. Side retired. So the A's get a hit, nothing else. Bottom of the second coming up. By Frost Brewed Coors Light. Best records in the major leagues since the 1st of June. Astros first, Indians second, Blue Jays third, Dodgers fourth. Ramirez, Chisenhall, Davis against Kendall Graveman. Into the glove of Yonder Alonso. Sounded like it may have been a broken bat.
I agree 100%. Lonzo's been busy. Left-handed hitters, and there's a few of them in this lineup, and not bad to have a very good fielding first baseman, handle a lot of the ground balls, and that being an easily hit line drive off the end of the bat.
So one away for Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall playing a lot of right field for the Indians. The Indians are without Michael Brantley, and that is a huge loss, and they're still hoping to get him back.
He thinks he's going to make it back before the end of the season.
Right shoulder, it's had some surgery, and it just has not bounced back completely. And Michael Brantley was turning into really one of the better all-around players in baseball. He was terrific. But played in 11 games this year after the shoulder surgery, and he just did not feel right, and he's still trying to come back. So. Remember in 2014, Ray, he finished third in the MVP voting in the American League. That's how good he is.
A long-term contract as a result of that. Can't fight the injuries, though.
Yeah, 2 years ago, last year, hit 310, knocked in 84 runs. If you put him in the middle of this lineup, that's a very, very good lineup. I mean, it's still hoping that that happens, but they just don't know.
Well, as a result, Chisenhall's a third baseman originally. Now he's playing the outfield. Ramirez at third, so they've had to try to fill the gap in the outfield.
Shallow left. Davis in and toward the line. He's got it, and that's a 7-pitch inning for Kendall Graveman. Third inning coming up, no score. Stormwater. Keep our highways clean. Protect our water. ProtectEveryDrop.com.
Rapid Robert Bob Feller. That's the man right there. That's his statue.
He deserves it.
Absolutely.
He deserves it. So it is the top of the third. Ryan Healy, Coco Crisp, Jed Lowry against Trevor Bauer. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and it's 0-2. So the trade deadline fast approaching. It is 1 p.m. Pacific time on Monday. So keep that in mind. 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday.
What's the latest? Any good news?
Not yet. Haven't had any deals today.
Something about Jonathan Lucroy talked about the Indians because of Yan Gomes is out. He's got 8 teams. No trade. I thought it's interesting that he's got a team-friendly contract that if one of the teams decided they wanted him, then he could say, well, you want me, I'll drop the no trade,
sure,
but extend my contract and give me a little bit more money.
That's the
that.
power that Lucroy has.
Yeah.
He's in the right spot.
Now, if it's one of the other 23 teams, then he'd have to go and play for the contract he has.
Line drive to right field, but right at Chisenhall. Here's our Geico quote of the game. General Manager David Forrest on the A's position in the upcoming trade deadline quote. Got this from Joe Stiglitz, our A's insider. We played well, and with a couple of tweaks we made at the break, guys have responded. It makes it a little more enjoyable for everybody. It is not lost on us that we've played better, but I don't know that it impacts our conversations around the trade deadline significantly one way or the other. So I think we mentioned it in the pregame show, and the A's have played well lately, but the hole that they've dug is still very significant. They're 9 games out of the wild card. And between the A's and the second wild card team, not only are they 9 games back, Naquin sliding in a very nice play in center field.
Ball slicing away from Naquin. We got a good jump on the ball. Coco really didn't hit it that hard. You see where Naquin is playing in center field. The ball is slicing, and into the slide. Able to backhand the ball, make a nice running catch. So Mazzara in Texas getting a chance because of injuries, and Chua in particular, and who knows, Brantley out, and this young man in center field, Naquin, showing that he can play.
He's been very good. So here's Lowry, who takes out. But the point I was making is you're 9 games back in the wild card of the second wild card team, and there's 5 teams ahead of you. So David's point is yeah, we're playing better, and it's fun, and that's great. But I don't know that that can change our thought process going to the trade deadline.
Well, you know, they talk about players who are drafted, young kids, assignability. Well, you're looking at also a free agent. Are they possibly going to re-sign? And of course, a free agent can be traded and negotiate with the team that traded him and still sign back with him. But if certain guys you don't feel are going to be able to be re-signed or signed to long-term contracts, then I guess the old saying is get what you can for it. But yeah, the fact that the A's put themselves in a big hole, and granted they're playing good baseball, but then you start doing the math, you know, and how much you have to win, and how that put some pretty good streaks together. And until you get back to 500, you're not even really in conversation.
2-2. And Lowry chases that ball down and in. Jimenez flips to first side retire. That's the first strikeout for Trevor Bauer. Bottom of the third coming up. It'll be Naquin, Jimenez, and Santana. Coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Kendall Graveman this season. The struggles early. His first 9 starts, 1-6 with a very high ERA. Last 10, 6-0 with a 3.25 ERA for one Kendall Graveman. He has not lost since the 19th of May. I love saying that. You know why? Because I hated saying when Sonny Gray hadn't won since May 22nd.
That's right.
I didn't like to say it, but I felt like it was important information. So I like saying this. He lost to the Yankees at home on the 19th of May. He has not lost since. 11 starts ago.
And right after that, he had a no decision against Seattle, but then he started beat the Twins.
Yeah, after that, he started rolling.
Beat the Twins, the Angels, the Twins again. And then Houston, Tampa Bay, last 2. So he's pitched well.
Here's the young man we talked about. Tyler Naquin is his name. Boy, he is having a heck of a season. .330 is his batting average. So we've been looking forward to seeing this young man. Saw him on TV a little bit.
So many injuries at the major league level, which gives so many young players opportunities to get to big leagues. And I still say sometimes it's easier once you get here if you can stay here, because pitching, while it's good around the plate, the conditions are so much better. Even though there's some minor league parks extremely nice, but bottom line, this is the big leagues, and they cater to the players, fields, clubhouses, charters, you name it.
Naquin was the first-round pick of the Indians in 2012 from Texas A&M. So he's a college player, so a little bit older. He's 25. Swing and a miss, and a fastball 90 miles an hour. First strikeout for Graveman.
Well, that is the key. When you play college baseball in a good program and play in that part of the country, it is good. Kendall Graveman from Alabama, Mississippi, but he knows what it's all about to play college baseball.
Here's Chris Jimenez.
He's from Gilroy, California, down in the Garlic part of the state, southern part of from the Bay Area in a way. So he always looks forward to coming back. Played for the A's a brief amount of time. Good catcher.
This is the 3rd time that he has been with the Indians. He always seems to come back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Jimenez, that one off the foot. The Indians, as Ray said, kind of looking for a catcher.
And a sinker ball off the instep, left instep, or the actual ankle. There's the other catcher, and saying better for him to take the sinking fastball off your foot than me. Kendall Graveman will do that if the sinker's working. Hitters will beat the ball on the ground or off themselves.
1-2 pitch, hit hard, backhanded. Lowry, jump throw to first, and you get Jimenez.
Nice play by Jed Lowry. Good range up the middle. And almost picking up the ball and throwing really without looking at the target, but great range to his right. Catch, jump, throw perfectly to Yonder Alonso. He appreciates it. Kendall Graveman, another ground ball out. He appreciates the fact that his infield is making the play. Some good information.
Yeah, Jeff, our very fine stat man here in Cleveland, said that Jimenez is Bauer's personal catcher. See, that's the stuff that you just don't get everywhere. You don't get plays like that everywhere either. Yonder Alonso, terrific play. And some good defense tonight on both sides.
Right there. Yonder Alonso, watch this play. Ground ball, pitcher be ready. Diving, stretched it all out to his right. Nice feed to Kendall Graven, who's there covering, gets going and gets some refreshing drinks. But what a play by Yonder Alonso, our forward right choice, boy, early. And he deserves it. He can pick it at first.
Reddick to lead it off. First pitch touch inside.
Yeah, if you have a ground ball pitcher, you know as an infielder you have to be on your toes. And Yonder, one of the best fielding first basemen in baseball. And that proves it right there with a great play that he made. Taking a base hit away. Left-handed hitters, they pulled it to the right side as he has been busy already tonight.
Reddick toward Napoli, and Napoli throws it away. And that was a mistake by Napoli because that was a routine ball for Jason Kipnis.
Yeah.
And Napoli went way, way too far to his right.
And not only that, but I mean, if you're going to do it, you have to lead the pitcher. And Napoli, as Kipnis goes over to field the ball, Napoli, and then he throws behind the pitcher Bauer covering instead of leading him. But the important thing, as Kipe says, Kipnis was there. Know where your second baseman is. Remember, Mike Gallego said he used to yell at Mark McGuire. He said, "Hey, I'm here. Check me out. Here I am. So don't range." And really, it's almost a constant communication with the infielder. And something Napoli, after getting an error on a routine ground ball, he should have gotten a put out instead of trying to get an assist.
So 2 errors in this game by the Indians in the first 4 innings. Indians as a team 9th in the league in defense. They're 1st in the league in team ERA, and that is their strength. You talked about the catching situation, and it sounds like that is the spot where the Indians would really like to upgrade. And I think they'd also like to get a bullpen arm. Of course, everybody seems to be saying that, but the Indians only have 1 left-hander in their bullpen. It's Kyle Crockett, and they would love another left-hander.
Well, evidently, if they can get Lucroy and Will Smith, they might get both.
That would be probably that is the best case scenario.
Yeah, that's exactly the two that
that's a good call.
The Brewers are thinking about.
Jimenez to first. Yeah, Will Smith's a pretty decent left-handed reliever, and we know how good Lucroy is. That would be Christmas.
Well, you know, it's unfortunate because Chris Jimenez does a good job of catching, and you know there's a certain thing about catching, and yes, Jeff gave us that it's his personal catcher, and there's some familiarity, that a lot less shaking if you know your catcher and you're on the same page. But it's an offensive position now. I mean, they've all become offensive positions, and that's why Jonathan Lucroy, not only is he a great catcher, offensive player, but it's a very team-friendly contract.
And I think we're talking about Jimenez, but the real problem is Yan Gomes is hurt.
Exactly.
He's got a separated shoulder, and he's probably not going to be back till September. And Yan Gomes was hitting 165,
he's really
and that's hard to figure out because we've seen Gomes in years past. He's been a decent offensive player, but the fact that Yan Gomes is your guy, and he is, you just didn't expect him to hit 165. So that is why the Indians are on the hunt to try to get better behind the plate. And it's a little bit like the Cubs situation. It's easy for us to say, but when you haven't won a World Series in a long, long time, do you then become even more aggressive when it comes trade time, pennant race time? I think it's easy for fans to say, oh, yeah, you got to go for it. It's a little more difficult, I think, to convince an organization to just give up the minor league system and go for it. Go get Andrew Miller and give up for a prospect. But what winning can do for an organization, they found that out right next door.
Exactly.
You cannot put any type of price on it.
And this is a special weekend. The fireworks tonight, tomorrow night, the Hall of Fame tomorrow night with Jim Thome, among others, to be inducted in the Cleveland Hall of Fame. But the Indians, if they play well, then they could bring a lot of fans back because they are playing better baseball.
Kipnis waits, and vote is retired.
And this team, this city, the first to have the legitimate consecutive sellouts. Yep. 455. So there's a difference. And downtown, beautiful stadium. Moved in here in the early 90s and put together some great clubs. John Hart did to bring those teams in here. They were winning, selling out every game. Jim told me tomorrow night in the Cleveland Hall of Fame, 612 career home runs. He was talking like that in the lobby today as he came down the elevator.
So Butler fouls it back. It won't just be him.
No.
He'll be the only one here from what we understand. But Albert Bell is going in. Frank Robinson, your old manager, is going in. Another gentleman by the name of Charlie Jameson, played back in the 20s. Yes. But Jim told me he's the only one that will be in attendance. It's too bad Frank Robinson won't be here.
Yeah, he was at Cooperstown last weekend, and I guess for him to fly back to Los Angeles and then fly back to Cleveland, a little bit much. Cleveland, Frank, he's not 50 or 40 anymore. He's up in the years a little bit.
And Frank Robinson, the first black manager in Major League Baseball history, and it happened right here in Cleveland.
1975.
Yeah. He was a player manager.
That's right. Pinch hit himself in the opener, hit a home run. Capacity crowd.
0-2 to Butler. Reddick dancing around at second in the breaking ball, and Butler just did get a piece of it. That's really one of the great moments in Indians history. That Frank Robinson opening day home run.
Actually, he was a part-time flight attendant too.
He was.
Yes, he was. When we would fly on that maybe airline out of Berg Lakefront, that maybe you could make it, maybe you didn't, and he got tired of sitting, so he'd get him served meals.
What a guy.
Because it was such a small plane. Frank said, "What are you doing, Skip?" He said, "I got tired of sitting," so he's serving them meals. Box lunches, of course.
Of course.
But he did a good job as a flight attendant. Of course, he wanted to keep his day job, which he did quite well.
A's with a chance to take the lead, but they need a 2-out hit. They've been pretty darn good at the 2-out hit thing.
He can shoot the gap in the right center. That would be a thing of beauty.
Naquin shaded that way a little bit. That's blocked by Jimenez.
Well, as I say, young man's a good catcher, and sometimes you want to think about what he can do to help his pitching staff. And Jimenez is a very good defender. And that will keep a catcher around in Major League Baseball for a long time. He's getting a chance to play a lot now because of the injury to Yan Gomes, but a good backup catcher is always very important for a team.
And there's a base hit right field. Here comes Chisenhall. Reddick trying to score. The throw to the plate is not in time, and the A's get another 2-out RBI hit and lead 1-0.
And there's an error to lead off the inning, a routine play. A's capitalize, and yet another 2-out run batted in for Billy Butler. Opposite field hitting, and the check swing on the curveball in the dirt, and he gets a fastball away, and that is prime Billy Butler right there going to opposite field. And as he told us last Sunday, after he hit the home run to win the game, he emphasized it was a right-hander, and he'll emphasize again he started out against the right-hander. He's gotten 2 hits, but good numbers against Bauer. That's impressive. 33 of 57 with 2 out, over 50%, well over.
Yeah, that's unheard of, numbers like that.
When it becomes a stat in the informational packet that's put together daily, then you know it's an important stat. I mean, it is anyway, but that's how impressive it's been for the Athletics to come through with those big hits.
1-0 to Alonso, and that is foul. Alonso hit a fly ball to center field in the second inning.
You know, this is a goal for the pitchers, an unearned run, but for our team, the Indians are down 1-0. Bauer gave up a 2-out RBI hit, and Billy Butler comes through. So while it's not a negative stat for the pitcher, But the A's will take it no matter whether it's earned or unearned, and especially to be able to get the big hit with 2 outs.
Down the left field line. Slicing foul into the corner. So 1-2 now. Talking it over, make sure they're on the same page. The outfield very shallow for Alonso, especially Naquin in center, Chisenhall in right.
We're seeing more and more clubs, and I know we comment about it, but some clubs play deep, but they're playing very shallow here, and still think that if the ball is over the head, granted, George Springer, for example, in Houston, he might get burnt occasionally. It's great speed going back, and if you can go back on a ball, look at how much distance between the outfielders and the warning track. They can take away a lot of hits in front of them.
But 3 call. So that's how the inning ends. An unearned run for the Athletics thanks to Billy Butler's 2-out RBI hit. 1-0 A's after 3.5. California is brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today. So bottom of the 4th from Progressive Field, where the A's lead the Indians 1-0. There's the big crowd. It's a good look down from the left field line.
You can imagine this place 455 consecutive just like this. And they felt, and back in the 90s when they were doing that, they felt that they were part of this team and they did not leave the park. Of course, they won't tonight because of fireworks.
Well, last year, Ray, they changed the ballpark a little bit. They did a lot of reconstruction out in right field. And when it was all said and done, they actually took out 7,000 seats as Kipnis lines us into the right field. It lowered the capacity by that much. They took out 7,000 suites and 7,000 seats and 16 suites. They changed the upper deck, and then down on the lower deck, you can see that the seats are there, but behind that section of seats, there used to be more seats. Well, now it's just a wide open area where there's some restaurants and you can walk around and you stand, and it's really become a very cool area out there. And that whole right field area now, it's sit, you can stand, and it's much more open than it used to be, and it's become a very popular spot. There's a kind of a main entrance way out right center field. You can enter into the ballpark.
Well, the reason they, of course, eliminated the switch, talking to Bobby DiBiase and said, we can't sell them. We can't give them away. And so take them out.
Why not change it up? And they did that. Bounce to Lowry. See if the A's can turn two. They get one, and that's a double play on the speedy Lindor.
Nice to see Jed Lowry start to position himself to get a nice feed. Watch Lowry move to his right and then kind of set up right there, and then a nice feed to Semien to clear himself out of the slide, away to the slide. And boy, what a difference it makes. And see Kipnis actually going a little bit to the right, even though he could reach back and touch the bag with his hand, which that's allowable. Can't change your direction to go after an infielder, a middle infielder, but that's a good way to get 2 quick outs. And once again, 102 pitches for Graveman in his last start. Complete game win thanks to Smolinski and Healy with the home runs in the 9th inning. And as he said, keep the pitch count down. You can go deep into a game.
0-2 to Mike Napoli.
Cut fastball off the end of the bat of the power hitter. It's the only guy I've ever seen, did it in spring training of the Red Sox. He actually snapped his bat in half, hit a home run. That's how strong a man he is.
Napoli signed a 1-year deal with the Indians. 1 year, $7 million. So that's a pretty good bargain there.
Well, he signed a huge contract with the Red Sox, then found out he had a hip problem. And it reduced it down to a 1-year contract with incentives. And of course, he more than made up for it with the production they had with the Red Sox.
And we should not forget, he was actually traded back to the Texas Rangers last year.
That's right.
He finished the year, the final 35 games he played with the Rangers. After the good seasons in Boston, 2.5 years with the Red Sox. Good ball strike ratio for Kendall Graveman, and only 44 pitches with 2 outs in the 4th inning. That one hit toward third. Nice play by Healy across the diamond, side retired. Double play grounder, big play in that inning, and we're going to the 5th. A's 1, Indians nothing. Of the 5th inning. Semien, Healy, and Crisp against Trevor Bauer. A's got an unearned run in the 4th inning for the only run in this game. Big curve from Bauer in for a strike. Royals and the Rangers are just getting underway down in Arlington. Volquez and Griffin, the pitching matchup there. Rangers won last night 3-2. That's a game 2 of a 4-game series. A lot of talk about Edison Volquez maybe getting traded, and he's pitching tonight.
To the team he's facing. I bet the Rangers have been interested in him.
He's a pretty good pitcher.
But you've got 2 teams. One's a buyer, maybe one's a seller. We'll see what the Royals decide to do.
So 3-1 the count to Semien. Foul straight back, and a fastball came right at him. Cubs beat the Mariners today 12-1 in Chicago. There was a long rain delay late in that game, and then they did resume play and they finished it. So Cubs behind John Lester blow out the Mariners. There's a strikeout.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AdVet Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. In fact, we talked about Ryan Healy, and of course he's had some big hits for the A's, but he's played very well defensively.
Yep.
And just like the last ball hit to him, and his fielding is very good. Of course, he immediately showed up talking to Ron Washington and then working with him, which is very smart. Trying to learn, try to do as much as possible, because playing at a position where you're hoping to get power at third base, but you also in the hot corner you want to have a good defensive play. And with his size, he's got good movement left and right. He's got a very strong arm, good hands.
Right back to Bauer. Bauer grabs it, flips to first, 2 away. All right, a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 3rd. Try and do it again here in the 5th.
Healy showing a little bit of disgust with the ground ball back to the pitcher. And the one thing about the game, and I always think of the great Dave Stewart, he had that death stare, that look. You never knew what he was thinking. And really at this level, you're going to fail. You're going to have ups and downs. You want to be the same.
Yep.
And you don't want to show any emotion either way, you know. And that's one of the things that can get you down, because then you start pressing instead of just saying, hey, it's an out. I've got to play 600 times. I'm going to make at least 400. And then I'm going to be a superstar hitting 333. You get 200 hits, but you know a lot of things are going to happen. It's just how you handle the adversities.
I would think there's an art to that.
There is. It's hard
for a big leaguer, where it's there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. But you do not want to have offers extended. But you also want to look at, if I have an offer, am I going to play tomorrow? And if you're going to be in the lineup and Ryan Healy's going to be in there, then you could look at, and for him especially, because he's seeing teams and pitchers for the first time. And you know, if he's a 5, 6, 7 year veteran, you know, he's going to have a better idea, better knowledge. But he's grinding right now, because he's thinking he's 0 for 2 against a pitcher really he's never seen. And maybe in the minor leagues you see some of the guys totally different up here though.
Would you think, and I think there probably is a higher percentage that you would think of players in the minor leagues who don't make it to the big leagues because of what we're talking about. Because they can't handle, you know, an 0 for 8 turns into an 0 for 15, and
exactly.
an 0 for 10 turns into an 0 for 20.
Yeah. How do you deal with it? Exactly.
Close pitch. Coco waits. It's called the ball.
And Stephen Vogt started his career 0 for 33. That's a great point. Thank you, Tommy. And I remember playing with Cleveland, a young man by the name of Richie Scheinblum. Started 0 for 34 at the beginning of the season. I mean, you talk about a tough. I mean, this is a very good hitter, Stephen Vogt, and he's proven that with his time with the A's. His first hit was a home run, just like Ryan Healy. But you have to learn how to deal with tough times, because there are going to be tough times.
Speaking of tough times, the Tigers and the Astros are playing tonight in Detroit. It's 9-3 Detroit in the third inning. Yeah. The Tigers got 2 in the first and 7 in the second and knocked out Colin McHugh. Colin McHugh went an inning and 2/3, gave up 10 hits and 8 runs. So comeback time for the Astros. They have time, but they are down by a bunch.
Well, there's a perfect example, Cap. You take a young man who's an excellent pitcher. He does that. He's got to wait 5 days before he takes them out again. And then what does he do between now and then to make up for his failure tonight? And
that's right.
That's part of it. And you don't want to extend. And I don't want to really dwell on Sonny Gray, but it took him 12 starts before he finally got another win. What did he do, and how did he handle those 12 starts every 5 days? That turns into be a long time, a couple of months, when you're pitching every 5 days. For a position player, at least you're playing every day. And what you failed to do today, you may make up for tomorrow.
Kipnis to Napoli side, retired. So the 2-out walk, but the A's do nothing with that. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It'll be Ramirez, Chisenhall, and Davis.
Gray car sunshade presented by Chevrolet. Sunday, August the 14th, 10,000 fans will receive this stylish promotion at the 1:05 p.m. A's versus Mariners game. Make sure you and your car stay cool even on the sunniest days of summer by visiting athletics.com/tickets today. And let's hope as you get that promotion, that great sunshade, that the A's will continue to be hot. You'll need to shade your car from a hot Oakland A's team. Playing very well right now. And hope to continue as they won 2 out of 3 against the Rangers, 4th consecutive series win.
Trying to win another series against the team with the best record in the American League, the Indians. Jose Ramirez leading it on. Ramirez, switch hitter. A's announced today that Sonny Gray will pitch on Sunday. It will not be Rich Hill. So the blister still a little bit of an issue. And the A's have not put Rich Hill on the disabled list, but they have ruled him out for Sunday. So Sonny Gray will go. And because of the off day, Sonny Gray will be pitching on normal rest. Base hit, right field, a leadoff single for Ramirez. So I know Rich Hill's disappointed, but
two great pitches to Ramirez leading off, but then he elevated this 2-2 pitch, and it's an 87 little cutter coming into the hands with the fact that it was down. That's the biggest difference. And now it's Chisenhall, who hit a hard ground ball to second in his first at bat, looking for the same one now. So Dylan Overton brought back tomorrow night. He'll make the start, and for Sonny on his normal turn on Sunday to pitch.
We'll have another off day on Monday in Anaheim.
So Sonny can duplicate the game Sunday. That would be against Corey Kluber again, as it was last year, the final day before the All-Star break, when hit a 2-hit shutout.
Alonso finally picks it up and gets the out at second. It was a very hard hit ball, and Alonso made a nice play on it, and it just trickled away from him.
Well, and
he made sure he got one.
And a good play by getting the lead runner too, because he was close, and after bobbling the ball, probably upset with himself for not turning the double play, but a great play defensively to keep the ball from going in. A little backhand, and at least did not have a chance really to clear himself and have a good angle to second base. So the runner a little bit towards the outside, and that was Ramirez. Then he went inside. They get the lead runner, keep the double play in order, keep the runner out of scoring position.
Well, a lot of ground balls again tonight.
Yes, that's a ninth ground ball out.
And here's Rajay Davis, who takes low. Davis hit a fly ball to left field in the second inning. Rajay Davis, like Mike Napoli, signed a one-year contract to come to the Indians. The Indians were looking for a couple of veterans to be able to play most every day, and they went with Napoli and Rajay Davis, and both these guys have done a nice job.
Well, Rajay brings a different dimension to a ball club, and that is his speed. He will always be able to run steal bases, be very daring on the base paths. A's saw him in the A's uniform, and of course the Tigers did well.
This one fouled just in front of us. But I will say, my partner Ray Fosse, he was ready.
I was backing up. I was just.
Yeah, he was ready.
What's this? Watch me back up.
You didn't back. You were good. You were right there. See? I hit my head on the bottom of the counter because I was ducking underneath. Okay. You had your big mitts would be fine, man. You'd be.
Yeah, but look at that finger. That's already. I've caught too many.
You got to get that one out of there.
That's what I was doing.
You didn't get that one out of there that one time. And
I've got 3 years in a row, as a matter of fact. That's why I was bailing. These nice chairs with rollers on them. That's good, though.
Well,
it's kind of slide back.
We know that a foul ball can make it up here. Runner goes, and the ball is tapped near home plate, rolls to the backstop. Chisenhall was on the move.
But I'm a little surprised that it's taking, of course, there's not been a lot of base runners, but taking the Indians as long as it has to put a runner in motion, especially with a ground ball pitcher.
Good call. And they had good speed.
Yeah.
They've stolen 71 bases as a team. That's second most in the American League. But if there's ever a guy to start runners against, it would be Graveman.
That's right.
Because he's not going to strike out a lot of guys.
And that ball beaten in the ground by Rajay Davis. Rajay is tough to double up anyway, but you get the runner in motion, then basically what you're doing, you're avoiding a double play if you're the team hitting in the case of the Indians, and more likely you have a runner in scoring position instead of a double play.
Graveman knocks it down, picks it up, he'll throw to second, and they get the out there. It's played by Graveman.
Now the question is, if he lets it go, is it a double play? Is it a tailor-made double play? Is Simeon there? But this was not a major shift where somebody was behind the bag. Just to the right of Kendall Graveman. He's thinking, I catch it, I turn two, reacted quickly enough, picked it up with his glove, and fed it to Simeon. So he gets the lead runner. Now see, that ball might have been up the middle, so good play by Kendall Graveman. And we saw it in Texas when Dyson, the closer, came in and tried a kick save and deflected the ball into shallow left field for a double that barely made it the outfield grass. But if he let it go, he had his shortstop standing at second base for a double play. Instead, the A's scored a big extra run.
So here's Naquin. We got the speedy Rajay Davis. Davis 24 for 27 this year in stolen base attempts. He's always had a good stolen base percentage as well, just like he does this year. Davis with 346 career steals.
And there are times they pitched out that time, but there are times you pitch out and you still don't throw them out, because it's got to be a perfect throw from the pitcher, and that throw a little bit to the left of Stephen Vogt, so he'd have to go get it, then try to recover and throw the ball to second. But, you know, there are 2 outs in the inning. And there's a lot of attention being paid to Rajai Davis. And low pitch count, 15's the highest so far, depending what happens in this at bat with Naquin. But it's the case where if you go after the hitter, you don't have to worry about Rajai Davis. You put so much attention on the base runner. In this case, you're down 2-0 to an aggressive hitter. He's got 12 home runs. So you just try to throw another sinker, get another ground ball. If Rajai runs, let him run.
And there he goes. Pitches the ball, throw to second base. Not quite in time on the first play.
Quick release by Stephen Vogt, but Rajai got a tremendous jump. I guess the A's are going to take a look at it. But had the big lead, got the big jump, did not look back. Stephen Vogt with a quick release to second base, and hand was on the bag. He got him in the midsection. It's something that Rajai has learned, something that he did with the A's, which is surprising. The 2 outs, he would look back. There was no reason. That time he did not. So he is at least now straight stealing. And all of a sudden 3-0 to this hitter.
Pitch swinging. I had a feeling he was going to do that.
Yes, exactly. Well, watch the hand on the bag, and Simeon tags him on the backside. Hand is on the bag. It's just a question. He's keeping his hand, his foot, trying to stay on the bag.
Got to hold the tag.
Absolutely, and he did not do it, and that's something that you're right. He's trying to hold as long as he slides to the point that he may come off the bag momentarily, and that's when you review and it's called out.
That's foul. So now a full count. Naquin struck out in the 3rd inning. That's the only strikeout for Graveman in tonight's game. Well, he has not needed the strikeout. He's allowed just 3 hits.
Those last 2 pitches. The 3-0 foul back and the 3-1. Stephen Vogt outside corner. Almost the point you want to stay away from it. Let him reach. Maybe try to pull it.
A little bit outside on a very close pitch.
You know, after he got to the count, this could have been. I'm not going to be that concerned. Sets up a force at all 3 bases. Plus, facing a right-handed hitter. And trying to get Naquin to go after the pitch outside. He did not, and it was off the plate. But I think that was just as much. If we walk him, don't worry about it.
So here's the 9th place hitter, Jimenez. Jimenez, his 2nd at bat. First pitch inside. Jimenez grounded out to 2nd in the 3rd inning. So first time in the game that there's been multiple base runners for the Indians. And lots of speed. Davis at 2nd, Naquin at 1st. Rangers got 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st against the Royals to take an early 3-0 lead. Graveman, hard sinker in on Jimenez.
And Naquin can do it first base, and he is doing it. Sandy Alomar Jr., the great catcher for the Tribe from a Rookie of the Year. And with Alonso so far off the bag, Naquin can get a huge lead as the Tribe's first base coach. But look at where Alonso, and so if Rajai decided to run, you'd think that Stephen Vogt's got to be thinking about Naquin. You want to make sure. Don't worry about it. Try to get this hitter out. Good off-speed pitch. Had Jimenez flailing at the slider, cutter. Kind of a combination that Kendall Graveman likes to throw. Cutter outside. Bring the two-seamer back from the outside.
Simeon has it. He'll go to second, and the side is retired, and the Indians strand a pair. 6th inning coming up. Reddick to lead off. 1-0 A's.
A's Bowling Bash presented by Chevron, Gertchen Fixed Income Management, Independent Electric Supply, Lagunitas Brewing Company, Sharp Investments, and Crystal Clear Imaging will be on Saturday, August the 6th at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl. Next Saturday, week from tomorrow, proceeds for this private fundraiser benefit the A's Community Fund. Can you bowl kite?
I'm not a good bowler. It's a lifelong disappointment for me. I'm a very good bowler. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I don't have a great back.
Or knees.
Having a bad back is probably not a good way to have a good bowling career.
How long you had that weak back? More than a week?
Yep.
Yeah, that's bad knees and bad back. That's a bad combination for bowling. Yeah.
You and I would not be a good bowling team.
No. I don't even want to. The only way I would do it is to stand flat-footed, right at the line, and roll it.
Yeah, but you could power it though. You're strong. Yeah, right. You have good pin action.
Kurt Young's got a knee problem. He's just concerned about him. He said, "I don't know if I can do that." You know, you go down to that squat. You're putting all the pressure on the knees.
May go down.
Yeah. Not come up.
There's a drive, right field, hit well. Chisenhall's going back, and that baby's gone. 2-0 A's lead on the solo shot by Reddick.
But Josh Reddick, and he has often said, I don't try to hit home runs. That time he might have been looking fastball. He got ready for the fastball, and he crushed the fastball. A line drive, and watch this swing by Josh Reddick, and he just put it. I mean, that. Unlike what he did with 2 strikes in Texas, this time it was the count in his favor. That guy in the shirt right there.
And Davis skies one to center. That's hit well. Naquin's back, still going back, leaps, and that baby's gone.
Holy, wow. Kuiper was a fly ball. That is unbelievable strength.
So back-to-back for Reddick and Davis to give the A's a 3-0 lead.
Wow. This just seemed like a long fly ball. Just kept traveling and traveling. And it's gone. And with Naquin going back, looks like, well, I have a chance. And no chance. It just kept traveling. Josh Reddick no more had a chance. And he just first pitch. So back-to-back pitches. Solo home runs. Unbelievable. And it's the third time Chris Davis has been, make it the fourth time. Chris Davis involved in back-to-back home runs. He did it with Coco in April. He did it with Valencia in May. Earlier in this month, he did it with Vogt. And now Reddick joins the crowd.
So number 26 for Chris Davis. And here's Stephen Vogt. Bauer is not a guy that's given up a huge amount of home runs this year. Coming in 10 in 111 innings, that's actually not too bad. But back-to-back tonight.
And I think once again, Chris Davis proving the power that he possesses.
Crockett the lefty, Otero the righty, just now starting to get loose on the bullpen. Vogt swings and misses. So Stephen Vogt is 0 for 3.
Crockett the only left-hander on the staff, much less in the bullpen. Two Davises in left field tonight. One for the Tribe, Rajay. Chris Davis at left for the A's with just a little bit more power. 26 home run.
Here's Billy Butler, who's had a good ball game. Butler 2 for 2. A couple of singles and one of them knocked in a run. Tapped foul. Come in winners of 5 out of 6. The Indians come in losers of 4 out of 5.
A tough time against the Nationals, who just left town. And they have a 2-game series against Washington.
Sometimes it's not who you're playing, it's how they're playing. Maybe that's the case. Catching the Indians when they're struggling a little bit.
Well, one of the nice things to hear as we travel around to new parks and seeing the Tribe for the first time, comments like, wow, A's are playing excellent baseball since the break. Right? That's true. And then they kind of say the same thing about the Tribe not playing as well. There's other teams that are struggling around baseball post All-Star break.
Full count to Butler. Alonso waits in the on-deck circle. Missed inside at 95 miles an hour, so Butler gets the walk.
Well, you have to think if you have one left hand in the bullpen, it's Crockett who's loosening up. And it wouldn't be just a one-batter situation. You wouldn't think anyway, although it could be in a critical situation. Right now, Alonso is left-handed. Then you have a steady diet, couple of right-handers. That's why Dan Otero's loosening up. Crisp and Lowry switch hitters at the top of the batting order.
Alonso his third at bat. And that pitch is low. Bauer now at 98 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. Missed again, 2-0. Bauer's a little frustrated. He's going to go for a little walk. Butler not being held by Napoli at first.
There's a ball. Up and away.
.44 balls and 56 strikes for Bauer. There's a strike, so 2-2 the count. Bauer has lost his last 3 starts and has got knocked around in each one.
That's a low strike that's been called tonight by Scott Berry, which has been working well for both pitchers, especially able to pitch down in the zone.
Missed 3-2. Bauer has walked 2. He has struck out 4. Otero's ready. Fouled straight back, just to our left. Headed toward the writer's section of the press box, just to our left.
Alonso's had a couple of pitches that were called that he did not think were strikes. One in the first at bat, struck out in his last at bat, and he's actually swung at a couple of pitches in this at bat that probably didn't actually think they were out of the strike zone, but maybe he didn't want to take a chance of letting the umpire make the call.
So another 3-2, and it's ripped to right for a hit. One hop to Chisenhall. That may be it for Bauer, and it's going to be Francona up and out of the dugout. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So the A's leading 3-0 and looking for more. They have knocked Bauer out.
Through the 7th, when the Chicago Cubs make a rare visit to face the A's. Come see Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, the rest of the Northsiders at the early August weekend series. Get a special ticket for Friday's Italian Heritage Night. Come for Saturday's Turn Back the Clock Day, or enjoy some sunshine at Sunday's 1:05 p.m. matinee. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets. Yes, you can see them across the bay. It's your opportunity. A rare visit for the Cubs, the Northside Chicago Cubs. Come visit the A's at the Coliseum. Ben Zovis with the A's last year. Addison Russell, shortstop, both playing every day, having a good year.
Speaking of good years, Dan Otero's having one. 1.33 ERA out of the Indians bullpen for Dan Otero.
Sinker slider, we know that for sure. If it's sinking, it can be a very good ground ball pitcher. The slider away from the right-handers.
First pitch to Simeon is outside. Fourth lowest in the majors among relievers, the ERA for Dan Otero. Three years with the big leagues. 2000 with the A's in the big leagues, excuse me. Chisenhall waits. Chisenhall has it.
I think Dan Otero is a perfect example of his struggles with the A's, that sometimes the sinker doesn't sink. Anderson, a former starter for the Tribe, on the bullpen. But if the sinker stops sinking, ball straightens out, you don't get ground ball outs. And it can be very frustrating if you're a sinker slider pitcher. But I think last year, as we know, when Sean Doolittle went down early, it changed the dynamics of the A's bullpen considerably. Moved guys in different spots in the batting, in the rotation, if you will, in the bullpen, and Otero was one who was effective.
Otero, in 2014, Otero was terrific. He was 8-2. His ERA was 2.28. Last year, his ERA went to 6.75. It's actually the Phillies who grabbed him off waivers from the Athletics. And then he was acquired by the Indians from the Phillies just about a month and a half later, and it was a cash deal. Two on, two out. 2-0 pitch to Healy on the inside corner, first round. Healy has hit a fly ball to right field. He has bounced back to the pitcher. Chris Davis with a home run in this inning. Josh Reddick with a home run. 2-2 the count.
And that's a patent sinker inside to right-handers.
Butler at second, Alonso at first. Again, the outfield playing very shallow. Tried to go in again, did Otero, but misses. So now 3-2. That actually helps the A's with Butler being at second base. He'll be able to take off with the pitch.
And Darren Bush, I'm sure, telling Ryan Healy about Dan Otero. And even right now, he's got a good sinker, ground ball, but he can also flip a slider. And you have to really be concerned on 3-2.
He came with a fastball. It ran in, and Healy stayed with it. So we'll do the full count, 2-out situation again. And it's roll foul again. Another fastball.
And that was an easy 9-1 because it came out of his hand almost like a changeup, but you see the velocity at 91. Got to be wondering when the slider's going to come. That's back-to-back fastballs on 3-2. One sinker in. Fastball up a little bit. Did not have as much sink on it.
Hit hard right to Lindor. Lindor stays with it. And the side is retired. A's get back-to-back home runs. Reddick, it was his 8th of the year. And then it was followed by Chris Davis, his 26th of the year. So the A's now lead 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. A's lead. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. So Graveman so far has allowed just 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 67 pitches through 5 innings. So he's done a good job as he faces Carlos Santana, top of the order. Santana, Kipnis, and Lindor. Carlos Santana, not your typical leadoff man. He's very much of a home run producer type hitter. But he has always walked a lot.
I was going to say that's on base percentage is what you wanted to lead off. It had the power. 21 home runs and walking and good on base percentage. That's a great combination to have.
And he launches this one to right center, and that's deep. Reddick's back. Reddick to the wall, leaps, and it's gone. So Santana has the Indians on the board with his 22nd home run of the year.
Well, when a sinker ball pitcher elevates a pitch, this is what happens. And this is a great park to do exactly what Santana did, what Reddick and Davis did last inning. And Reddick gave it a great effort. He almost pulled the San Francisco spring training. Probably Michael Morris, but just a little bit too deep. Got to get the ball down to these guys like that.
First pitch, strike. Kipnis singled in the 4th inning. He also grounded out in the 1st, so 1 for 2.
And Josh Reddick, especially that close, and close he came to hitting or getting it.
That one's hit in the air to left center. Coco's near the wall, and Coco makes the catch. So that's out number 1. Just 4 home runs allowed in his last 11 starts, and those 11 starts are, that's the length of time since his last loss, so it has to go together a little bit.
And again, he elevates a pitch to Santana. We were just talking about his power as a leadoff hitter, and he showed it. Showed why. But I think also with Santana, he doesn't have to catch anymore. And you know, we're talking about catchers, but an offensive catcher, but he's much better when he's not behind the plate. He's not that great of a catcher anyway. Did tear up his knee and trying to block the plate with all the weight on his right leg. Had his left leg sticking out and ended up injuring his leg.
2-0 to Lindor, Napoli to follow. Indians are a dangerous team. They're 4th in the American League in runs scored, and they're 9th in home runs hit. So they're not a huge home run hitting team, but it is a pretty good, solid offense, and it's a fairly deep lineup. And Lindor takes the walk. Second walk issued by Graveman.
Now this is time Stephen Vogt talking to his pitcher and perhaps saying, you know, you're 1 pitch away, 1 ground ball away from getting a double play and get out of the inning. But you cannot pay so much attention to the runner at first, in this case Lindor, because of a mistake to this hitter. It's a tie game, and that's how strong Mike Napoli is when you take a little bit of your attention away from him.
Napoli, a fly ball to left and a grounder to 3rd. That big swing, and he rolls the foul. he gets back on that back leg and just lets her go. Uppercut.
And that's why the mistake in is dangerous. I mean, that's because the way he opens up and the way he is a back-legged, back-foot hitter, you pitch him away, get him to roll over and hit a ground ball to the left side.
This one's hit high in the air. Reddick hustling over. Reddick, a step into foul territory, makes the catch.
If Napoli does not see a hittable pitch on the inside part of the plate in the 6 games the A's play the Indians, that would be a plus.
So 2 outs. Here's Jose Ramirez, switch hitting third baseman. The Indians also have Juan Uribe, who plays a fair amount at third base. There's Juan Uribe. Well, he's not in there tonight, but we'll see him in this series at some point. 1-0 to Ramirez, who's 1 for 2. Keep an eye on Lindor. He's got 13 steals. He does not have a huge lead. Now he takes another step. And that time it looked like Lindor, I don't know, may have been leaning a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes, and I agree with you, that looked like he was taking off, and sometimes they kind of push off the right foot. It gives the impression that they're about to take off, but then they're pushing to get back to the bag. But that was a close play, because when you do that, you get leaning in the wrong direction. Try to get back. That's when a quick throw and a good throw can get you.
Right to Alonso, and the backhand steps on the bag, and that will do it. But a home run by Carlos Santana here in the bottom of the 6th. It's now 3-1 A's. True story brought to you by McDonald's. May 30th, 1977. It was Dennis Eckersley and Ray Fosse. There's my partner charging the mound, and that was a no-hitter, folks. 9 innings, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts for Dennis Eckersley. Final score: Indians 1 and the Angels.
How did the A's get the 1?
It was
the Indians
got a triple by Dwayne Kuiper and a single by Jim Norris in the first inning, and that was it. Go get him.
And really,
I remember that.
The highlight that you just showed was whatever they call it, WKYC. Hey, there's a no-hitter going on at the Mistake by the Lake. You better get down here. And they just got there, and that's as close as they could get the mezzanine above first base.
It was not televised, obviously. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Cody Anderson comes in. Been a starter for the Indians, but he has struggled. And now in the bullpen. That was X. Only no-hitter. Not that we're saying he should have pitched more. 1 is pretty darn good, but that was His third and final year with the Indians was 1977. He was traded to the Red Sox.
20-game winner there, and of course then became a 390 save closer for the Athletics.
That was, and I'm sure you remember, a very controversial trade. Heck, going to Boston after 3 really good seasons with the Indians. He was, I guess he was very young. But he got traded to the Red Sox, and if I remember correctly, the Indians' return did not equal the talent of Dennis Eckersley.
Well, no, when you consider Eck's career after that, no.
Unfortunately for the Tribe.
Times were different then. Times were different. I mean, just looking at Chief Wahoo above Cleveland and Municipal Stadium, that shot in '77, that was enough to tell you right there that it was tough.
Yeah.
Chief Wahoo is there. One of the most recognizable logos in all of sports.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think Bobby Bonds was on that Angels team that Eck no hit.
That's right, he did. And there he is, John.
He just got here though. Where you been, John?
As a matter of fact, Bobby Bonds, I think Bobby Bonds was hitting in the 9th inning. He hit in the 9th inning. Yeah.
Probably leading off for the
Gil Flores was the final out. That Eck was screaming out the circle. Said nobody wants your picture except to see the last out.
Yeah, you're right. You know what?
But Bobby Bonds hit, and I remember Bobby said to the umpire, because I was moving about a foot off the plate, and he finally said to the umpire, "Can you get a little bit close so I might be able to reach a pitch out there?" And of course the slider and the fastball. I mean, that's why Eck became such a great closer, because tremendous control and a 2-pitch pitcher, essentially a fastball, sinker, slider. But he could paint.
So good start for the A's here in the 7th. Try to get that run back. Coco Crisp with the leadoff walk. Lowry is 0 for 3.
Well, the A's have done a good job since the All-Star break. And any good team will continue to add on as the game progresses. And that's demoralizing for a team that's trying to come back. Santana with a home run. It's a 2-run game. Now A's got a leadoff walk and trying to add more in the 7th.
Lowry has hit a fly ball to left. He has struck out and he has grounded out. Inside. Anderson started the season in the rotation for the Indians. In fact, him being in the rotation was one of the reasons Bauer was in the bullpen. But Anderson just did not pitch well, and he pitched well last year for the Indians. But could not duplicate. That's Crockett again, the left-hander. So now he's pitching out of the bullpen. He's been up and down in the minor leagues a lot in a first 4 months of this season. Oh, the bullpen. Drive a manager crazy.
You're right.
You have to have a good one. A lot of times you have to redo it every year or every other year.
That's right.
And as we're finding out at the trade deadline, especially this year, from what I've been reading, and it's the same stuff you've been reading, the asking price for relievers is astronomical because there's a lot of them, and that's what everybody wants.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the starting pitchers not going beyond 6 and 7 innings, that you have to have a very good bullpen, not only the back end to close a game, but then now you're looking at maybe a 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the Yankees had the perfect with Betances, Miller, and Chapman. And just reading, again, as you probably did as well, that the Yankees were interested in Chris Sale. And I think a lot of that is because of the length of the contract, that he is under control by the team that takes him. And as a result, the team that does receive him, if he is traded, would have to give up a lot.
2-2 to Lowry.
I wonder if Crockett is getting loose for Reddick in the on-deck circle, but then you have Davis behind him before a vote. So the positioning of players in the lineup, instead of backing up lefties or righties, enabling a relief pitcher to come in and face multiple hitters on the same side.
Five hits for the A's, just 4 for the Indians. That one just got a piece of, did Lowry. There was a see where it gets the catcher a little bit.
It's kind of a strange one. Kind of off the end and then
back of the foot. How does that happen? The foot's facing that way and it hits you in the back of the foot. Another 2-2 coming up from Cody Anderson. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Lowry is 0 for 4. So that'll bring up Reddick.
Josh Reddick, a 3-1 fastball against Trevor Bauer. Give the A's their second run, a crushed fastball. Running hard, line drive, and is he just stretching out his neck or something?
Reddick takes that one right down the middle for a strike.
I haven't figured out another way that you can tell if a catcher is tipping pitches.
How's that?
Jimenez, before the strikeout pitch to Lowry, took his right hand trying to move the umpire, indicating I'm coming in, get out of my way.
That would tell you.
So I mean, you think about it. I mean, when he did it before Lowry just pushed him because the umpire with the right leg at times would prevent him from moving inside.
And we've seen other umpires do that, and we've also agreed that that seems a little too close.
Well, exactly.
They should not.
You can't restrict the catcher from moving, and he's set up, very set up. The umpire set up. Now, if Jimenez wants to move inside, that right leg is going to prevent him from moving. And I think that's why he was taking his hand. If he's back there, say move back and coming inside. Well, if you're in the on-deck circle, you see that right hand.
Sure.
Hitters want no location. Just let him know. Now, I understand in some of the speed up the game rules, this right there is something that had been brought up about limiting the number of times a catcher can go to the mound.
I'm all right with that.
Well,
you know me.
I know,
I'm okay with that.
But as guys say, hey, catcher gives a sign. What else are you going to talk about?
Exactly.
Talk about it in the dugout.
Davis calls off Lindor, and that's the second out.
Well, right behind Josh Reddick, Chris Davis, a monster moonshot straightaway center, and that ball just up and up and up. And I'll be honest with you, as Nako was going back, I figured he was going to catch it in the grass before the warning track. And the carry for Chris Davis is just unbelievable. Tremendous power, the follow through, the finish of his swing, and straightaway center field. So back to back by those two, Reddick and Davis. Chris wearing the protection on his left elbow. He's been hit 3 times in that exact spot. Got into the Coliseum, had the protection, said it helped. And he said, I'm glad at least I had that protection because it's not that big, not as big as some of we've seen.
He bounces that one right over the bag at second, where Kipnis is, who steps on the bag, and that will do it for the A's. 7th inning stretch from Cleveland. It's the A's 3, the Indians 1.
The Coliseum Saturday, August the 13th. Fans can meet Star Wars costume fan groups during the game, and everyone in attendance will enjoy post-game fireworks so big and bright it's sure to awaken the force. Special ticket package includes a Stormtrooper beanie. Get tickets now at athletics.com/Star Wars. Wow, it's gonna be fun. Sliders already taken out and catch it. The guys behind us saying no wagers allowed, but somebody had catch-up, and right behind home plate, slider got him.
Slider? Okay.
Drilled him right behind home plate. So catch-up was out of it, and they don't have the big head.
He was
like
out of it. 1-1 the count to Lonnie Chisenhall. He'll be followed by Rajai Davis and Tyler Naquin. Chisenhall is 0 for 2. And he pops this one up.
I just keep stay out there, especially against the lefties. Let's see the slider pick. This is catch up way ahead. He is hot dog a little bit, turning around, looking like look how far I'm ahead of you. But he did not know what was waiting for him as around home plate there's slider taking him out. And it almost got another one. But then
Onion stole the purse.
Here comes Onion. Stole the purse. Oh, come on, Mustard. There's going to be somebody's going to get taken out near the finish line.
A lot going on. That's what dollar hot dogs.
That's right.
2 nights in a row we've seen dollar hot dogs.
You know, I think Slider had to go in the DL in the postseason, and he fell out of the stands, and there was never padding on it.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was too bad. Man.
Fireworks after the game. We'll be checking those out as we turn around.
Arena.
3-0 to Rajai Davis. The Rangers leading the Royals 3-0 in the top of the 5th inning. A.J. Griffin's pitching that one for Texas. Tigers leading the Astros 10-3 in the bottom of the 6th in Detroit. Pitch is hit foul, running in on Rajai Davis.
You're going to mention that useless information we just
34,039 hot dogs sold. That's not the attendance.
I thought it was attendance that I saw hot dogs sold.
Payoff pitch up the middle. Simeon dropped it. He had arranged quite a ways to his left, but he got to it. So it's an error.
Well, it's too bad because he was going to be able to field it and throw out Rajai Davis, who went after a high fastball. And for the Athletics, they went 15 in a row without an error. And that's their first since back game 95. 2, 4, 7 consecutive without an error. So that's not only is an error, more importantly, it puts the time run at the plate and the speedy Rajai Davis at first.
Naquin shoots it foul. Naquin has struck out and walked. Very good on base percentage for the youngster. He's got 12 doubles, 5 triples to go along with his 12 home runs. Zipjinski, the lefty, starting to get loose. There's a base hit left field. Davis has to get over there quickly to cut it off. Boy, that's a nice swing by a young hitter.
Well, there's got to be a pinch hitter for Chris Jimenez. Not surprised in that. As a pitch away, and really it is a very good swing because instead of trying to pull the ball, He just takes it to the opposite field. That is very, very smart hitting. And the inning opened up, and Davis getting the ball back in. But Naquil showing his ability to go in the opposite field, not taking the outside pitch and trying to pull it.
So the pinch hitter is going to be Abraham Almonte. He's a switch hitter. And he's hitting for Jimenez. Almonte at 172. He's got 5 hits in 29 at bats. And he's 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter. Runners take off. A line drive left center field, a hit. Rajai Davis slid head first into third base, so he has to get up. He comes home, and now it's 3-2.
Well, Monte with Rajai Davis getting a tremendous jump off second, and then behind them was Naquil. And instead, Almonte takes the first pitch right back up the middle. Stephen Vogt coming out from behind the plate to try to throw, but instead Rajai straight stealing all the way, and Bob Melvin, I think he's going to turn, or at least the, see, Sapczynski loosening up, the left-hander. That's going to be Sapczynski.
So 6 1/3 tonight for Kendall Graben, and he's going to leave. He could win it, he could lose it, or he could get a no decision. So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
On CSN California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
So Kendall Graben, 6 1/3 tonight, and he leaves with the lead.
Well, it's too bad, too, because he did get a ground ball. Could have had the first 2 batters with outs. And now in trouble. Sapczynski, the former Indian, comes in to take on his team, the former team. And right now looking for a ground ball, and will turn Santana around the bat right-handed. After hitting a home run his last at bat from the left side, Santana, Sapczynski, who knew he's going to be facing the switch hitter. The infield will play back for 2.
So Santana steps in. Naquin at third, Almonte at first.
Sapczynski with a good sinking fastball, good changeup, slider inside.
Man, that was a good breaking ball to start the at-bat.
Well, that's the kind of breaking ball, the off-speed pitch. They'd like to see him roll over, hit a ground ball to get a double play.
63% inherited runner stranded for Zubczynski. That one misses.
Well, the pitch that got up to Santana from Kendall Graveman and left the yard quickly. 1-1 fastball, no sink on that one. Almost caught by Josh Reddick. Santana with his 22nd home run.
Big shift down for Santana. Nice block by Vogt.
Well, Stephen very quickly getting up and looking at third base with Almonte at first, but nice block. Got rid of the mass, picked it up, actually looked at first and then to third. And a good block nonetheless. You want to keep the force, the double play in order. Ryan Dahl is ready to go in the bullpen if so needed. That would be Kipnis, another lefty. So they've stacked up with Kendall Graveman pitching tonight. The lefties in the lineup.
Pitch just missed. Looked like a strike.
I don't think they missed it.
Everybody's asking home plate umpire Scott Berry about it.
Unless it's inside, this ball right down the middle.
That's not inside.
Steven Vogt, definitely the height is okay.
So now the count is 3-1. It should be 2-2. Everybody's starting to get on their feet here in Cleveland. And it's outside. He walked in. So that'll bring up Kipnis. Well, the stadium now reminds you of those days in the 90s when it was full all the time. It has gotten very loud in here. Well, Santana, another walk. And here's Kipnis, who's 1 for 3. First pitch is low.
That's a pitch that he likes the sinker to try to get a ground ball. Kurt Young's going to visit with him. He said the crowd has been getting beat by the sinker. That's why with Odor in Texas, he threw a first pitch slider, had him flailing at it. This time he decided to go with the sinker.
Zubczynski pitched here in Cleveland half of 2013, all of 2014, and then half of 2015, and he was then traded to the Padres.
Kendall Graveman would love to see a ground ball double play with the A's out of the inning.
Another good take on that sinker. It felt like a situation like this where you want to drive in the run and pitcher's throwing pretty good sinkers. Those 2 pretty good takes by Kipnis.
Almost, they're not close enough to even consider swinging at him. And definitely.
And he gets the call there on a pitch that Kipnis didn't like the call.
The one that Santana was better. They want to go inside. They wanted the sinker. The ball stayed straight. And Kipnis turning away from it as the ball stayed inside.
Broken back, shallow left, Davis in, and it falls. Aquin scores, and this game is tied at 3.
Oh, it's too bad. A broken bat, base hit, out of the reach of Semien, and a little bit too deep for Davis. Almost came in good idea not to dive for the ball, because that would have been dangerous if it gotten past him. Although if he caught it, he's going to double off the runner from second base, Almonte, but instead had to drop in front of him. And Szymczynski a walk and a base hit. And Ryan Dahl will be coming in.
So the Indians have scored twice, and they've tied up the game here in the bottom of the 7th. Each week, our A's insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. This week, Joe's guest is Ryan Healy, A's young third baseman. A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz. It's on CSNCalifornia.com, sponsored by Max Muscle Sports Nutrition. It's also available on iTunes.
Well, it's not something Bob Melvin really wanted to do, but he knows that Ryan Dahl has had a lot of success. And for Ryan Dahl right now, 1 out, bases loaded, lefty coming up, Knapp in the on-deck circle, but Lindor right now is the most important for the Athletics. Kendall Graveman. He's still looking for the ground ball.
First pitch to Francisco Lindor, and he fouls it straight back on a fastball. Almonte at third, Santana at second, Kipnis at first, 1 away. Lindor has singled, hit into a double play, and walked. High fastball, and he holds up. Way outside, 2-1.
You always talk about the importance of bunting, getting a bunt down, but how about the importance of an error? And what has happened? There's 38 for 41, just 3 have scored. So second best, way above the average, but right now Houdini act is necessary.
Lindor, he chased the ball. It was up a little bit, and Dole says thank you. It's 2-2. Now you finish him off with a strikeout. Mike Napoli is next. And it gets past Vogt, and Almonte is going to score, and the Indians lead 4-3. Almonte actually hesitated for a bit, but he had plenty of time. The backstop is a long ways from home plate here.
Well, another biting slider. As a matter of fact, you go back to last Sunday, Ryan Dahl, a couple of sliders, not able to be held, blocked by Maxwell in that game. And this one, a hard one. Now the infield has to come in. 3-2 count on Lindor. And might as well be careful with him because Napoli on deck, although he's tough, but you get a ground ball from him.
And that one is looped toward right field. Reddick coming in. Reddick makes the catch. Here comes Santana. The throw to the plate is not in time, and it's 5-3 Indians.
They'll hang a slider, maybe because of the one that was left or in the ground. That ball right in the middle of the plate would hit me all over it, and he did. Reddick got behind it. His throw just a little bit up the line. Plenty of time to get it there in front of Santana, but the fact that it was offline, if it's on the plate, he's out by plenty. Instead, it's up enough towards the first base dugout that Santana able to score.
So 2 outs. Here's Napoli. Kipnis still at second. So the Indians have scored 4 times here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And then have an error that scored and a walk that scored.
Fastball first strike. Inside corner. Crowd tonight 33,134. That is a sellout. 4th sellout of the year for the Indians.
Well, they have really reduced their capacity.
Yeah. And they're expecting another sellout tomorrow night. Dole trying to get Napoli to chase that slider. He doesn't.
Daniel Coulomb, the lefty, getting loose quickly.
Two and two now to Napoli.
Stay with the slider, and Napoli way out in front looking. Fastball didn't get it.
Coulomb warming up quickly. Another slider, and it's 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball. Side retired, but not before the Indians do damage. They score 4 times on 3 hits, a walk, and a costly error.
Day when the A's play host to the Chicago Cubs Saturday, August the 6th. 15,000 fans will go home with a retro Billy Ball 3/4 sleeve tee, baseball tee. It's presented by Cash Free Casino Resort. In addition, the A's will be wearing throwback uniforms that pay homage to the 1981 Billy Martin team that advanced to the 1981 ALCS. Get tickets at athletics.com.
Looking forward to that.
You just want to wear one of those uniforms.
I do. I want one of those T-shirts. I know that. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. So now, with the Indians taking the lead, their setup man Brian Shaw comes in. And of course, their closer is Cody Allen. So Shaw takes over on the mound, and the new catcher is Roberto Perez. Your changes, new pitcher and a new catcher. So Shaw to face Stephen Vogt, Butler, and Alonso. So things kind of spun out of control a little bit in the bottom of the 7th for the A's. Now the Tribe has the lead. High fastball, Vogt chased it. So Stephen Vogt has looked uncomfortable at the plate tonight. He's going to go for a little walk. He's 0 for 3. A ground out, a pop out, and a strikeout. Shaw is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Indians. Bauer, Otero, Anderson, who went 1 inning.
And Shaw is just very simple. A fastball, which is a cut fastball, and a slider. So he uses a cutter for his fastball, like the great Mariano Rivera did.
Well, he has been a workhorse for the Indians. The last 3 seasons, not including this year, his appearances 70, 80, and 74. That's a lot. Never been on the disabled list. The 2-2 pitch is tapped foul down the third base line.
That would have been sweet.
Ramirez playing well off the line. It's kind of a semi-shift. Left side of the diamond pulled over. Butler and Alonso will follow here in the top of the 8th inning. Foul territory, and Rajay Davis has just enough room, and he makes the catch. Well, when you're on a hot streak, that ball goes into the seats.
Yeah, it just wasn't sliced enough, and hoping that it would, but Shaw staying outside. It's cut fastball. What he's trying to do is bring it back out of the outside corner to the left-hander. And of course, the slider to the right-hander, Billy Butler. Alonso on the on-deck circle. When you get down to the setup man and the closer, it doesn't matter whether they're lefties or righties. It's not a situational pitching until you get to the 8th.
Yeah, Shaw's one of those guys. We've seen him a lot. He has trouble throwing the ball straight, and that's a compliment.
Absolutely.
He's got some natural cut. And then he throws a hard slider. And it's a quick 0-2.
Well, that's from out of the strike zone, and you see it kind of wrap it in that center field camera shot, where of course the hitter can't see it that much, but hitters also know that he's a 2-pitch pitcher. Just the matter of the movement, which really helps. It's not a sinking action, it's more just a cut fastball and a slider, which means everything's going away from the lefties and to the away from the righties into the lefties.
And boy, see, that's 93, and it almost acts like a slider, but it's really just his cut fastball.
And you don't throw the slider that hard, and that's why the cutter has the velocity that it does. And it is thrown hard, low 90s. With that kind of cut, it's tough for a hitter to adjust on a pitch outside part of the plate like that.
So here's Alonso. Alonso, a fly ball to center, a strikeout, and a base hit. And that pitch, very close, called the ball. Missed again. Shaw thought that was a strike.
And Scott Barrett, one of the umpires that will turn his head to the side. Axford joins Coulomb.
Big bouncer to Kipnis. And that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Brian Shaw. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Indians 5 and the A's 3.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
All right, let's look at our game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-5-1 for the A's, 5-7-2 for the Indians. The 4-run bottom of the 7th is the difference in this game. Kendall Graveman was rolling along until the 7th. Reddick, Davis, back-to-back home runs. That was in the 6th inning. Carlos Santana has a home run for the Indians. So things were feeling good for a while, but now they're trailing 5-3 going to the bottom of the 8th. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So Daniel Colon comes in. He becomes the 4th pitcher of the night for the A's. He'll face Ramirez, Chisenhall, and then Rajay Davis. Ramirez a switch hitter, so hits from the right side. Rangers still shutting out the Royals. It's 5-0 in the 6th inning. Shows bunt, and it's a ball. 2-0. That's the closer, Neil Allen. Cody, excuse me. Neil Allen, well, that was in the 80s.
Oh, that's right, though. That's good.
Cody
call.
Allen. Sorry about that. Base hit. Davis backhands it, and he'll get it in quickly. So the Indians have a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 8th.
got the count in his favor, then slider that really didn't break that much. And Ramirez on Indians' late inning heroics. Very quiet, nothing against Kendall Graveman early. A lot of ground ball outs, and gets a ground ball, miscue, and open up a 4-run inning.
Bunted. Malone will go to first, and they get the out there. So Chisenhall sacrifice bunt, and the Indians playing for a little insurance run. Well, we'll have game 2 of this 3-game series for you tomorrow. It'll be Dylan Overton against Josh Timlin. Coverage begins at 4 p.m. with A's pregame live. Incomplete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is CSN. And big pregame ceremony tomorrow with the members going into the Indians Hall of Fame, including Jim Thome, who will be here.
That's probably the only one that's going to be here. He is. There 4 recipients. Very deserving. He with 612 career home runs.
Jay Davis has reached base twice. He has scored a run. And he has stole a base. Jay Davis hit that ball to Simeon with 1 out and nobody on in the 7th inning. And Marcus could not field it cleanly. He was given an error, and that started the 4-run inning.
And one thing about a hitter who has speed, infielders feel that they have to rush just a little bit, and maybe Marcus rushed just a little bit too much instead of fielding it, using the strong arm. And as a result, it did open up what turned out to be a big inning. But on the other hand, you look at a pitcher after a mistake is made, a pitcher's supposed to take care of things himself. It just did not happen though.
So Davis walks on 4 pitches. So the A's have now issued 4 walks on the night. And here's Tyler Naquin. This is the play we're talking about.
Just look at the footwork. That seems to be what happened there. That got to his left a little bit and took it to left, and maybe just trying to hurry a little bit too much. And it was enough to not even get a throw off to bobble the ball. And it just happened to be with the one hitter who not only has the speed but is a threat to steal.
Naquin has struck out, walked, and he singled in that 7th inning. First pitch strike from Malone. So Overton and Tomlin tomorrow night. And it'll be Corey Kluber and Sonny Gray on Sunday. Just joining us, Rich Hill will not pitch on Sunday. Sonny Gray will do it, not Corey Kluber, former Cy Young Award winner. Jam shot foul, hit down the left field line.
I always think about watching pitchers for future games of a series, how much they might be paying attention to the hitters they're going to be facing. But in most cases, they may be watching them, but they're also thinking, I'm going to pitch to my strength anyway.
Yep.
Which really takes away. There's Tomlin and Kluber, who we pitch in the next 2 for the Tribe. But you have to pitch to your strength.
Naquin is called out on strikes. That good Cologne breaking ball, and he does have a good one.
Good 12-6 curveball, and it drops in perfectly. Little knee buckler, jelly legs, and a strike 3 called. And good time to throw it, and he could have thrown it any time in the account. Happened to be 0-2, and a good call.
So this is the catcher. His first at bat, Perez. Slider inside to Perez. Perez, 1 hit in 22 at bats this year. Pulled off that one, 1-1.
I think he's looking fastball. Came from with the A's here on amongst 33,132 Indians fans.
Yeah, and it's been loud in here tonight too.
Well, once John Adams showed up, better late than never. Maybe he just showed up late for the fireworks.
Close pitch, 2-1. Ramirez at second, Davis at first. Plenty of speed. He's our good friend. They all. He's been doing it for 40 years.
That's right. He did it at the old stadium. Of course, there was nobody there then. These people probably ask for different seats tomorrow.
I mean, you could. There's. I mean, it's a big crowd, but there's some open seats now that you could slide down. But they are sitting probably 4 feet behind John. And I got news for you. John's going to keep doing it, so you might as well move.
This lady here is just her head's bobbing with the beat. That's a good shot.
Lowry has it. He'll go to first. And the Indians do not score. They strand a pair. Last chance for the A's. Simeon, Healy, and Chris. A's trailing by 2.
Next Honda players of the game. Boys start in the 7th inning. A ground ball by Rajay Davis. E6 ends up being the first runner on base with 1 out. Next batter, Naquin. Base hit, left hit. Excellent hitting. First and second. And an attempted double steal. Almonte decides as the pinch hitter swings the first pitch. The shortstop Simeon covering. That would score 1 run. And then right after that is a walk, a base hit, a single. And as a result, 4 runs in the inning. 3 earned, but enough to give the Indians a 5-3 lead with the closer coming on in this inning.
So here is Cody Allen. He's 19 for 21. save opportunities. His 43rd appearance, 55 strikeouts in 43 innings as he faces Marcus Semien. First pitch, a fastball at 95 right there for a strike. Semien is 0 for 3.
But Allen, like Shaw, just a two-pitch pitcher. And with Shaw, it's a fastball, four-seamer, and a curveball.
There's the nasty one right there, and it's 1-2. 7 wins when trailing after the 7th inning, tied for the most in the majors. So they've done this before. Swing and a miss. Fastball 95 miles an hour. Semien strikes out, 1 out here in the 9th inning.
Well, you can see everything building up to this man coming in, and he has done a good job. Just fastball, straight, but a good location on the pitch outside, having Marcus reaching for the ball.
Indians all-time saves leaders. A lot of familiar names on there. Cody Allen, in a fairly short period of time, is already on that list.
The best one is the Doug Jones changeup off the changeup off the changeup.
Softer and softer. Cody Allen was drafted in 2011. He was a 23rd round draft pick, and he found himself in the big leagues in 2012. And he has never went back to the minor leagues. 34 saves last year for the Indians. '24 saves in 2014. Strike to Ryan Healy, who is 0 for 3.
You can throw that pitch for a strike when you're behind on the count. You got to get a lot of hitters doing exactly what Ryan Healy did, and let's take it.
And he drives one toward left center, and that's going to be a hit. Rajai Davis gets to it quickly, so Ryan Healy is going to allow the A's to get the tying run to the plate.
That was a hanger, too. Hung a curveball. Good job by Ryan Healy, just reaching out and sending it over the shortstop's head. As the drum was beating, the crowd was cheering, and Ryan Healy quieted the crowd. So Coco, you know his heroics, what he's done on this road trip. So Perez sets up inside or stays away, probably away.
First pitch is a bit outside, close. Couple of walks tonight for Coco Crisp. He has also popped out and hit a fly ball to center field. John Axford starts to throw in case the Athletics tie this thing up. Short lead for Healy. He's not going anywhere. And the ball's driven toward left center field. And it's going to fall in front of Rajai Davis. Here, Rajai had a decision to make. Do I dive for it, or do I just play it and try to keep it in front of me? And he ended up playing it on a hop.
Coco Crisp, not a home run this time, but a fastball away. Take the base hit to left center. And you're right, ball slicing back. Rajai with great speed and kind of got caught in the middle. Made sure the ball at least went off his chest. Probably very advisable not to go for a dive and miss it and have it go to the wall.
Nope.
And put 2 runners in scoring position and take the double play possibility away.
He probably did the right thing.
Yeah, that is the best thing.
So here is Lowry. 2 on, 1 out. And the A's again making it interesting. Wexford if the A's were to tie it. Madsen if the A's were to take the lead. Lowry is 0 for 4. First pitch. Just kicks away from Perez, but not quite far enough for the runners to advance.
He called that a strike?
He did?
Call it a swing, if you can believe that. He called it a swing. It's not even close, but a strike is called. First of all, it's low, not a check swing, but the umpire put his hand up by himself. That's a home plate umpire.
So the count 0-1. Swing and a miss. 95, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, just a very, very hard, good fastball, and he did not hold anything back on that one.
So Lowry's going to have to battle. He's down 0-2. Fouls that one back. Came right at him with another fastball. It was pretty much right down the middle, but he's throwing hard.
Spike does an index finger with a knuckle in. It's a knuckle curve, basically, is what he's setting up for. He has that type of a curveball plus a fastball, the four-seamer.
He's hung that breaking ball a handful of times, and that was a hanger. Watch this one stay up.
Yep, stayed in the middle of the plate and kind of got under and stayed instead of getting on top. And so catchers will point to a pitcher's elbow and say, get it up and get on top of the pitch and drive the ball down. Of course, he might not want to throw a spiked curveball and allow two runners to advance. Instead of give up a three-run home run.
Fastball got him swinging. So 2 outs here in the ninth. He's got one more shot, and it's Reddick.
Well, he went upstairs with the fastball, and that's where his catcher wanted it, and he got it. The best part about this at bat, as much as you would like to see Jed Lowry get a base hit, but at least brings the bat of Josh Reddick to the plate. And that is huge, because in one swing, he put the A's ahead. He gets on base. Chris Davis right behind him.
First pitch to Reddick. Inside, 1-0.
This is his home run, 6, backed up by Chris Davis, but a fastball from Trevor Bauer, line drive right center. At the time, 2-0 A's. Then it would be 3-0, and now the A's trail 5-3.
Good swing by Reddick, and he fouled it back. He was on it.
He was on it. He had it, and just fouled it straight back, which would indicate that he really was on it. But there are some hitters that do not like pressure situations. I think this man at the plate right now enjoys them as much as anybody, and that is Josh Reddick. Probably hopes that every game he has a chance to do something special.
High in the air, right center field, and he's got it.
Just missed it. Just missed it.
So the A's come up just that short here in the top of the ninth inning.
Got the curveball. Josh Reddick, a very good swing. He had it. Same area he hit his home run on the fastball. This curveball drove it nicely. He's thinking, he's hoping, but Naquil going to the wall and in front of the wall. And to make the catch. That close to being a 3-run home run.
So another tense ball game, but this time the A's come up just a little bit short. 2 hours and 59 minutes was time of game. A sellout crowd of 33,134 witnessed it. Final score, Indians 5, A's 3. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Postgame Live starts right now.